right, Q. Where are you from?
Well, I got a military background, so I've been a lot of places, but typically I spent most of my time in North Carolina. I went to high school in Goldsboro. If you follow my NCAA series, you'll see I went to Eastern Wayne High School with the Warriors. And then I went to college in Greensboro at North Carolina A&T. And I graduated from there after 4.5 years. And now I'm down here in New Orleans right now working, trying to make my way back to NC eventually. So yeah, but other places I've been, I was born in Delaware. We moved to Vegas, moved to Florida. I spent about 8 or 9 years in Georgia, and then I ended up in NC. So that's my little route I took right there.
Nice, nice. You have a very similar background to mine. We'll talk about that later, but that's cool. What got you started on doing videos for YouTube?
I had been a viewer for, I would say, 2 years, maybe even longer than that. Like I always tell everybody, I was watching yourself, Azure, and all of you guys that were in the Sim Standard, and Gideon, all these guys making videos about improving games. And I found interest in that because I was always a Madden fan and always into 2K, and I saw y'all doing your thing, trying to get ways to improve the game and hopefully the devs would see it. And so finally, I rapped to Azure. I was like, I think I want to start making videos. This was about 2 years ago, and I never did it. So I ended up waiting a whole nother year until I finally got my equipment. I went and bought my Hauppauge HD PVR, and I had my laptop already, and I got Sony Vegas 8. At the time, I was using Sony Vegas 8, and I put in work. NCAA 12 had just came out, so I went and got that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start when this game comes out. And so I got the game, and then I worked on my first video, and then it ended up being a montage, and then I just went from there. I started off making montages, and then my subs started telling me I need to do some commentary, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And at first I didn't like it. I didn't like doing commentary because, like I tell people, I always used to be a shy guy, and I didn't know how people would take it. So I started doing commentary, and then people started loving it, and I just started finding my niche and getting better, and now here we are.
Yeah, that's cool, because I remember watching your videos, I remember like your first couple videos. And I remember when I first saw them, like NCAA or some Madden videos where you were showcasing the editing skills you had. I mean, like I said, you can have a powerful, piece of hardware and a great program to edit, but unless you know how to time it right and chop it up right. When I saw what you was doing, I was like, nobody knows how to do that but this guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's nobody. I've not seen a single bit of editing that's better than this. And again, that was also in reference to the sports community, because I had seen some crazy Call of Duty editing skills, like from people, and that's just because the community is so large, and I've seen some of the best that there's ever been. And then when I started seeing that same level of skill being implemented into sports, I couldn't believe it. I was like, finally, the community is starting to open up into this, because we look at 2K and football games like Madden football, whatever, Backbreaker, whatever the game you play, we look at that like that's our Call of Duty. Because I know so many guys that know how to put a dope intro together, or that know how to put a nice little edit scene together, but they don't know how to commentate.
Oh yeah.
So I remember saying, like, man, Q, you gotta commentate, you gotta do something, because there was nobody's editing that I had seen that was better than that. And you came out commentating, and I was like, he sounds like Cleveland from The Family Guy. So he's got a famous voice, he's got unbelievable editing skills. All he needs now is just to be a dope gamer, like dope gameplay. So then you have that, and I was like, all he has to do now is just be consistent. When the community is united and you're somebody who puts in the same level of effort into your videos, other commentators, and you're growing the channels legitimately, not name dropping on other people to get a light shined on you. You're busting your ass, hard work, sitting in front of your computer. All of us that commentate and edit and put a lot of work into our videos know what it takes. How it takes like a couple hours, a few hours, you know, and then the rendering and then the uploading, all that kind of stuff. So that's when you can tell a guy knows what he's doing, and he's genuine, and he deserves the success he's gonna receive. What type of computer do you own?
First of all, I started off with my Dell laptop, just a normal Dell, and it was about 3 years old, and it was taking forever to do this, do that. Rendering was taking 3 or 4 hours to render like a 10-minute video. And so finally I was like, I gotta step it up. I gotta get something better, something that can increase my production and make life easier. So I recently, about 3 months ago, I went and bought a Mac. It's a 21.5-inch screen. I can't think of all the specifics on it, but it's a beast. I can record gameplay, chop it up in about maybe 30 to 45 minutes, commentate it, render it out, and it takes maybe like 10 minutes for a 10-minute video to render. So production stepped up. Final Cut Pro is the software I use to edit with, and also some Adobe After Effects. So Final Cut is great. I love it. It makes stuff a lot easier, and it has some great effects in it, so I recommend that.
All right, and last question, what are your thoughts on NBA 2K13?
NBA 2K13, hadn't heard too much about it. I think they've been keeping a tight lip on it, but I mean, I'm hoping they're gonna have to bring crew back or some type of online My Player if they want the sales to continue, man, because people were real disappointed that 2K12 did not have crew, and a lot of people are still playing 2K11 just to get into that game mode. So I mean, I know I'm pretty sure they're working hard behind the scenes, but it's about time that we see something from them. Just see maybe a 2-minute long gameplay or something, so that we'll know that the game is tight and we'll know we're gonna get it. So I mean, I think it's gonna be a great game. I've liked all the 2Ks. I've had every single 2K game there is, so I already know I'm gonna buy 2K13. I'm just hoping that the gameplay is better, because it took a hit from 2K11 to 2K12. So I'm hoping the gameplay is better. They bring back crew, and we'll get it in online and play against each other.
What did you think of the NBA 2K12 Commentators Dunk Contest?
Man, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great idea for you to bring together all these different commentators from different backgrounds and have us, duking it out and having some fun and being creative with these dunks and editing and just bringing the community together as a whole. I think it was a great idea.
What was the toughest part of the competition?
The toughest part is, if you play NBA 2K, there's not, you pretty much see a lot of the dunks a lot of the time. So the hardest part was trying to be creative, coming up with different dunks, since we have such, it's limited in what we can do. And then also wondering what your competition is gonna do, because they might come out of the box with something crazy, like when you jumped over Chandler. That was something I had never seen. I was like, oh man. So it's just, the hardest part is being creative, coming up with something that no one's ever seen, and also having to take into consideration what your opponent is doing.
All right. Do you feel that the competition forced you to step your game up in 2K, editing, just all of that?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. The competition, it was so many great people going up against me in the dunk contest, and just like watching the first video, I was like, oh man, like I was nervous. I wasn't even gonna make it past the first round because people were just bringing it and putting their all into their dunks and their videos. So yeah, everybody definitely made me step my game up, especially for the final montage. Man, I spent probably 12 plus hours on that.
All right. Who was your biggest threat in the competition?
You talking in the East or the West? Or
it doesn't matter. Like just you can either go in order or just whatever your thought process is. Who was your biggest threat in the competition? Who do you think made you, take it to that next level to beat them?
The biggest threat, I have to say, man, it was probably you, honestly. Like, you were one of the you always had great editing, and I know you had been saving up them dunks and getting ready. So I knew you was gonna come with it. And also everybody else did great though, don't get me wrong. Greco did excellent. K-Spade did his thing, Mims did his thing, Cool Black Guy, of course, he made it to the finals. So everybody in the competition did their thing pretty much.
All right, and the reason why I asked that question is just so you can answer just like that. Having somebody make you, push you,
yeah,
is always the key to any type of amazing result. I'm in the competition to be a push, and even if I'm not the best at the game, I know what I'm talking about when I say this is a commentator's dunk contest. We want to see you as a commentator with your editing skills, your voice, your gameplay, but we want to see that, not just your my player. You know what I mean? You could create a 99 overall player and fake a my player, but you can't fake a personality. You can't fake editing skills. You can't fake being a commentator.
Exactly.
Was there any doubt that you wouldn't win this competition?
Oh yeah, man, I had doubt every round, honestly. I mean, even though I'm confident about my work, but at the same time I know everybody else was bringing it, so it just depended on what the judges were looking for, and it ended up they ended up liking what I brought to the table. So, but yeah, every round I doubted myself. I was like, oh man, I'm pretty sure Greco beat me right here. I'm pretty sure Shakedown beat me right here. And then I'm pretty sure I was thinking Cool Black Guy even could have beat me in that last round. So, I mean, I did what I could, but ultimately it was up to the judges.
Were the judges fair on the voting for this competition?
Yeah, I think they were totally fair. They took into consideration the stipulations, and I know some people didn't go by the stipulations, so that's probably why they were eliminated in the earlier rounds. And they gave their explanation for why they voted for who they voted for. So I think it was great bringing in the judges and actually letting everyone hear why they picked who, so that so no one would have any doubt on why they didn't move on to the finals or the second round.
Absolutely. All right, no doubt. And last but not least, give a big shout out to that Cool Black Guy for competing. I think he did a phenomenal job, and it's only right, that you be a good winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Cool Black Guy, man. That dude, he brought it hard in the finals. I mean, I was watching his part of the video, and I was like, oh my God, you see the dunks that this dude is doing? His player is short, a point guard, and he was head above the rim on a few dunks and just jamming it on people. So I was like, oh my God. I was pretty sure. I knew it was going to be hard for the judges to judge the final round, especially with him doing those crazy dunks. And, I really tried I put my all into my part. So I was confident about what I did, but at the same time, you never know what they're looking for, So I'm just thankful I won. But definitely shout out to Cool Black Guy, man. He brought it.
All right.